Hello, welcome to No Sevens Dice Club, College Football Edition, Week 11. What a great week Week 10 was. We went 4-2, climbing up that ladder. We're now 20 and 17, 21, 17 losses, and one tie for the season. Both of my dark horses won. We picked Florida to win, and man, that was a heavyweight bout in the first half of that game. Georgia climbed up on top, went 14 unanswered points, and then Florida came roaring back, and then Georgia to tie the game 14-14. Then Georgia came back 21-14, and then after that, Florida said enough's enough and took off the gloves and really just started playing some serious SEC football. If you remember the Notre Dame Clemson game, that was my other dark horse pick last week. We were talking about whoever had the ball last was going to win that game. And Notre Dame had the football last going into overtime. They were able to tie up the game. Very exciting game. Probably the best college football game of the year. If you haven't seen it, I recommend checking out the Notre Dame Clemson game. Very, very, very great game. Went double overtime. I'm not going to spoil it if you didn't see it, but I highly recommend seeing that game. But it ended up going into double overtime. I would have liked to see Trevor Lawrence play this game, but instead we had DJ. DJ played great for Clemson. Freshman quarterback, looks like he's going to be a promising star for Clemson once when Trevor Lawrence decides to exit and go to the draft. Whether it be this year coming up, this will be his last season, or he goes and plays for another year. Who knows? But Clemson looks like they're well. Has another great quarterback in their wings with DJ. I don't think there was really too much other to say. Pittsburgh won. They beat Florida State. BYU won against Boise. I mean, that wasn't even a contest. BYU on Friday night came out there and just hammered Boise State. I take back my comments of what I was saying about BYU not being able to play into a New Year's bowl game. They will be playing for a New Year's bowl game. Not the Final Four games, but one of the New Year's Eve bowl games, New Year's bowl game. I can't remember the dates; they always change them. But they will be in like the Fiesta Bowl, the Rose Bowl, one of those bowls, one of the top bowls. They will be in. Just not the Final Four. So, and then let's see, anything else for last week? Let me look. I think that's pretty much about it. For my ACC rankings, I wrote down all these notes. For my ACC rankings, this is the way I kind of see how the rankings are, and I know I'm going to receive some flack about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tie for first place for the ACC. I see Clemson and Notre Dame still tied. The only reason why I have Clemson and Notre Dame tied is because Trevor Lawrence was not in that game, even though Notre Dame did win the game. I'll go ahead and give out the spoiler if you didn't see the game. But Notre Dame won the game. I think next time when they meet up again, I think Clemson might win that game. Who knows? It's going to be a very good game either which way. But Clemson, Notre Dame are still tied number 1. Miami's number 2, and NC State is number 4 or number 3, however you want to look at it on the pecking list. That's how I view the ACC. For the SEC, I see. What is it? What am I looking at? I'm looking at Bama, Alabama, Florida, Georgia in that order. So it's going to be interesting to see how the ACC and the SEC all work out. Ohio State last week did really well in the first half, and in the second half they fell asleep. We did not cover. We lost that game. They were up 38-3 going into halftime, and they just fell apart in the second half. Welcome back to the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is back. I didn't mention hello to the Pac-12, but that's pretty much about it. I'm glad to see the Pac-12 is finally in the swing of things. They get to play for the month of November, and I think they have one game in December, and then that's it, and then their season's over. So right when they get amped up, getting the football condition, they're already shutting it down. But let's go ahead and talk about November 16th, 2020, Week 11. The first game on the docket is Georgia at Missouri. As we know, looking at the Georgia-Florida game, Florida won that game pretty decisively at the end. Georgia is going to play this game very pissed off, knowing that they're not going to be playing probably for the SEC East Championship game in the Georgia Dome. Which has always been, they've been there for the past few times, but it looks like Florida, like I said before at the beginning of the season, that Florida's going to be taking that step this season. Florida's got to keep on winning, and so does Georgia. And Georgia is not going to be happy. They're going to come out guns blazing. That defense is going to get better. And I know the quarterback's still growing and that offense is still growing. That's the reason why we went with Florida last week. Because we knew Georgia had the defense. We just knew that Georgia didn't have the offense. But Missouri, they're going to Missouri. They're going to be upset. I really expect Georgia just to level Missouri. I feel kind of bad for them because, I mean, they're just going to run them flat over. So this is going to be a pretty easy pick. We're going to go ahead and take Georgia minus 13. All right, next on the list is Arkansas at Florida. This might be a little bit of a sleeper game. So if you want to, you might want to steer away from this game a little bit. But Florida's going to come off a really big high off of this game. After beating Georgia, so they can't really let their laurels go. Kind of sleepwalk through it. And Arkansas is playing really good football this year. This is not a bottom of the basement Arkansas team that's been scraping the bottom in the SEC. They've actually got a pretty good team this year. They're moving up from the bottom to about mid-level of the SEC pack. So what we're looking at is that Florida's got the offense, and so does Arkansas's got a really good defense. But I think if Florida can come out and keep level-headed and keep on playing with Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts, keeping up that connection and keep on running those wheel routes. Those wheel routes were killing Georgia defense in that game. I mean, they were just gashing Georgia's defense. With that, Georgia was ranked, I think it was the fourth or fifth overall defense in the nation, and Florida just brought them behind the woodshed and just handled business. I expect the same thing with how Florida's going to attack Arkansas's defense. They're a very run-stop defense, but they do not stop the pass that well. So I'm really looking at Florida to keep on running those wheel routes, keep on moving the ball forward. Dan Mullen is a great offensive genius when it comes to offensive coordinating. Like I said, Kyle Trask, he's definitely on his way to becoming a top-tier SEC quarterback. And I'm just looking for them to keep on rolling. They know that they got to keep on winning to be in the SEC championship game to play against Alabama. And so we're going to go ahead and take Florida minus 16.5. And I tell you what, if Florida moves up to past 18, I wouldn't pick this game. In fact, it's kind of a risky pick because this is almost be kind of a break even. But I do see Florida scoring about 40 points. And I see Arkansas scoring about 20, 25 points. So this is going to be a very close game with that point spread that Las Vegas has laid out. But let's go ahead and take Florida minus 16.5. All right. Next up is Florida State is playing North Carolina State. And if you watch the game against Miami and North Carolina State, Miami barely came out with that win. We lost that game last week. We did not cover. I thought Miami would have come out and played better ball, but obviously NC State's a pretty legit football team. That's the reason why I have them number 4. Florida State's dead last in the ACC. NC State's only -7 in this game. I expected a -14, maybe a -17 for NC State. Florida State's really got nothing to play for this year. That's what can make them so dangerous, is because they have nothing to lose anymore. They're still trying to find out their identity. They're still trying to find out what pieces are working, what's not working. So they literally have nothing to lose in this season. So it's all out football. I expect to see something kind of like the Pittsburgh Florida State game, where Pitt just pretty much just handled business. I kind of expect the same thing. When NC State plays at home, they're a whole different team. They are more dynamic, more physical, aggressive team. Especially when they go into those all black jerseys, that's pretty cool. For the NC State. If you haven't seen one of those games where they're all black jerseys with the red stripes, it's a pretty cool looking and intimidating uniform. But this is definitely a shoe-in. I wouldn't bet the farm on this, but I would definitely feel pretty comfortable betting this game. Florida State at NC State. I expect NC State to roll this game with no problem. So let's go ahead and take NC State -7. All right, the next game we have up is Alabama -24 at LSU. Last year was last year. LSU beat Alabama for the first time in 8 years. This game's always been a very tight game. Two powerhouses of the SEC West going at it. LSU and Alabama have always been in the top two in the SEC West, as far as the strength and everything else goes. LSU is going through a major rebuild this year. They lost 32 players in the offseason after their 2019 championship run. And they lost three coaches. So, and they're playing more freshmen this year, I think they said, than in the past, what was it, the last 14 or 15 years? I can't remember. It was even before Nick Saban was there at LSU. I think it was back in the 90s when Jerry DiNardo was the head coach. But anyway, LSU is playing nothing but freshmen, and Miles Brennan, the junior quarterback, is supposed to be back for LSU. He's supposed to be back after hurting his ab muscle or whatever he hurt, his throwing arm, who knows, his feelings, who knows. Anyway, Alabama is ranked number 2 right now. I think they're going to probably be jumped up to number 1 once the rankings come out. I'm still waiting on the rankings to come out, but Alabama is just going to roll this team. Alabama played 2 weeks because they have a bye week. Alabama and LSU always have a bye week before this game. But Alabama, their last game they played Mississippi State, it was 41-0. I'm kind of almost expecting that. I expect LSU maybe to score 14 points. But Alabama and Nick Saban always has a thing where he never lets any of his old coaches beat him. And he also has a thing, too, where he does not like to lose to his old schools that he used to coach at. And he takes it very personal. So I expect Alabama to come out and just bring the sledgehammer to this game and just hit LSU with everything they got. A few years ago, I think it was in 2018, 2017, the score was 29-0. I'm almost kind of expecting to see that too. I don't think LSU really has much of a prayer in this game. As much of an LSU fan I am, I just expect Alabama to go in there, handle business. Nick Saban's got something to prove with LSU every single year, and I don't see it stopping this year at any cost. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Alabama -24. And for all the LSU fans, it's just going to be a brutal game, just watching it. But, it's Saturday. We never know what might happen. Anything could happen and go from there. So let's go ahead and take Alabama -24. Speaking of anything that could happen, last night, Sunday's game, I was sitting there, I was looking at the line. The Saints were +7 in that game. And if you going against the Buccaneers, the Buccaneers have probably one of the best. If you look at their football team, they have some of the most top first round picks, and even in the top 5 first round picks, with Fournette, Dominican Sue, and a couple others that they have. Just laden with first round talent. It's almost kind of like an all Madden team. If you ever want to see what an all Madden team looks like, look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster this year. It's just filled with first round picks, and some of them are in the top 5 of those picks. But anyway, that game last night, the Saints just came out there and just laid the lumber to Tampa Bay and just completely stunned them. They didn't know what happened. Tom Brady was under full duress and everything else. So I'm really happy that my Saints handled business and handed Tom Brady his first time ever in his career where he got swept by a divisional opponent. Never happened before in his career. And it happened last night, so congratulations to my Saints handle business. Getting back to college football, our last pick is the dark horse pick, and that is Miami, Florida versus Virginia Tech. This is the second time that Miami has come in as an underdog. This is kind of a pick'em game. This is only a 2.5-point spread. It'll probably be 3 come Saturday, or it might even drop down to 1 or 1.5 or 2. So it could go either way. Either way, it's a pick'em game. And Miami, Florida is going to Virginia Tech. Miami is still trying to play for either, I believe they're trying to play for Clemson or they're going to play for Notre Dame. They're still vying for a good bowl game, whatever it is. Will it be one of the New Year's 6 bowl games, or will it be New Year's Eve? Who knows? It'll be a really good bowl game. But they're still growing. They're still playing strong. They found a will to win against NC State. They were behind that game for a lot of part of that game, and they found a way to come back and win that game at the end. That's what I kind of feel how they're going to play at Virginia Tech. One thing, check on the weather with this game coming up, because with that tropical storm and with the snowstorms coming in, this could be a snowy game. So you might want to check the weather. If the weather is going to be all right, then we're definitely going to lean heavily towards Miami. If it's going to be inclement weather that looks like it's going to favor Virginia Tech, like snow, then I would lean heavily towards Virginia Tech. It just all depends on how that weather looks like, because in Miami it does not snow. But I think it's going to be in all right conditions. Looking at the weather forecast now, it looks like the weather conditions are going to be okay. But this is my dark horse pick, and I do think Miami's going to keep on rolling. Like I said, they only have that one loss to Clemson, and they're going to keep on playing really well, keep on trying to win, try to have a rematch with Clemson. Who knows where that might go, or it might be a rematch, or it might be a matchup with Notre Dame at the end. Who knows what might happen? Everything's up for grabs with those top 3 teams: Notre Dame, Clemson, and Miami, Florida. So we shall see how that all goes. But this is coming down to a pick'em game. I really like Miami, Florida. So let's go ahead and take Miami, Florida plus 2.5. Alrighty. And so we have Miami, Florida plus 2.5. And now our bully picks. So this is going to be our money line picks. Who's just going to win the games outright. This is where we just try to collect a few extra dollars. Put $10 on there, collect $8, and see what happens. The first game I have is Boise State. Is a Thursday game, and they are playing Colorado State. So Boise State should be able to handle this. I believe that in the Mountain West they're doing really well. They ran into a really good BYU team, but that does not stop them from keep on rolling and keep on playing. I think Boise State's going to win outright in this game against Colorado State. They're playing on the Smurf turf too. So if you make if you make your picks before Thursday, put in there the Boise State game. But if you do, more than likely you will not be able to do the other picks too, depending on the casinos, because sometimes they don't have the money line picks until Friday. So we can cancel out Boise State if you want to. It's totally up to you. This is if you're doing your picks early, you can add in Boise State. But like I said, normally they don't have the Saturday games for money lines on Thursdays. Totally depends on how the week goes. But anyway, the rest of them, we like Alabama to win outright. We like Georgia to win outright. We like Florida to win outright. We like Ohio State to beat Maryland. That's going to be a little bit of a questionable game. Ohio State's always, Maryland's always played Ohio State pretty tough, but I think Ohio State's going to keep on rolling, still be the number 3 team in the nation. So we'll go ahead and take that money line pick also. Notre Dame is playing Boston College. Boston College is a really good team. They took Clemson, to the wire, going up to halftime, 27-13. Before Clemson came back and won with 19 unanswered points, 34-27. So this could be a little bit of a trap game for Notre Dame. Boston College is not a team you sleep on, and with that high, it could be a trap game just like the Arkansas-Florida game. So you might want to skip out on the Notre Dame. I'll go ahead and take it. But like I said, it could be a trap game, but we are expecting Notre Dame to keep on winning. So we're going to go ahead and take that money line pick. And then we're going to take NC State to beat Florida State. So we're going to go ahead and take that money line pick also. But that's it for right now. I wanted to mention, thank you for all the well wishes. Thank you for everything. The rebuilding process is going well. Trying to get the craps table going again. Trying to get everything. Hopefully, I can have a craps video for you guys in the next few weeks. At least try to piecemeal a craps table together for you. But thank you guys for all the comments, all the well wishes. Thank you for all the donations to help me get that table. Your money is really helping me move forward and getting things progressing rapidly. So I do appreciate that. So thank you, Craps Nation. Thank you, Sleepy, and to everybody else out there donating and sending in good thoughts and everything else. I really appreciate everything. So I will talk to you guys next week for week 12. And this is the final 2 week or final 3 weeks left of the college football season, pretty much. You know, we have a few games in December, but after that, that's it, guys. So thank you for tuning in. Wish everybody lots of luck. You can send your comments below if there's a game that you want the nation to look at, and what your thoughts are on some of these games. So please comment below. I love to hear what you guys are thinking. And I'll talk to you guys next week, and good luck.